Business, where today we are joined by the Chairman of Derry GAA, Stephen Barker. Very good morning to you, Stephen.
You too, Rob. Thanks for having me on.
A pleasure. It's an area that we look at all the time in terms of the GAA as a big picture, but breaking it down county by county, there are some counties who are really flying, doing things at the right level and the right pitch, and there are others who might be not quite there yet, but you're definitely in the former camp. Plenty of success at juvenile level now at the moment, and you've got a few exciting things we're going to talk about today. But tell us a little bit about why the GAA in Derry is in a fairly exciting position at the moment.
Thanks, Rob. Well, look, Derry is a GAA mad county. You know, the passion that exists for our games here is on par with anything throughout the country. You know, looking in from the outside, people can probably see from time to time that this happens, but we want to make that a common theme every year, year on year. You know, when people think about Derry, they probably think about the 90s, in particular 93. But, you know, back to the 90s, none of that happened by accident either. You know, it was 10 or 15 years of development and schools and clubs and all that. And look, time moved on. And I suppose the thing is, did Derry move on with the times? Possibly not. And now what we can see in the last decade, you know, the strategic blocks that we're building together and we're moving on. We've seen underage success, as you say, on the field, culminating in the All-Ireland minor winners this year. And of course, we did a hat-trick of Celtic challenges with the underage hurlers this year as well. So it's all been coming, and now our job and my job is to ensure this continues to grow and the GAA can achieve its full potential within Derry.
You've got some fairly ambitious numbers as well that you're looking at growing the participation in urban areas by 100% and increasing it in the rural areas as well. But in order to get there, you need a strong foundation, and we're Sport for Business, so we look to that commercial side of it as well. You've already created a strong business network supporting Derry GAA. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that was something we decided we would launch last year. We created a social network called the Chair of Derry Business Network. And it's basically about bringing the people and business and communities together. You know, the mission of that was to maximise the potential that exists within the county of Derry through the promotion of Gaelic games and our culture through the city, towns and communities. You know, as you say, look, we've 42 clubs, over 7,000 registered members, 56 primary schools, 4 secondary schools. And, you know, we have the 4th largest city in Ireland in Derry City. And we plan to increase participation by 100% within that area. And again, by 10% in the rural areas as well. You know, I'm very fortunate that, you know, in Derry, due to the foresight of generations that have gone before us, our capital needs and expenses aren't as much as they would have been possibly for a lot of other counties. You know, we have a lot of the large infrastructure in place. We've got 2 county grounds in Owenbeg and in Celtic Park. Most of our clubs have excellent second to none facilities, the envy of other counties and the length and breadth of Ireland. And, you know, it's important for us now that we invest, and we're investing in people going forward. You know, that's what it's about now, our players, our coaches, and we invest within them. You know, on a sort of macro level, I suppose that's what we want to be looking at, you know, the coaches, the committees, and developing in them going forward.
The venues is a really important point as well. I was up in Derry a couple of weeks back, and standing on the walls, looking out over the bogside, you see the Brandywell and Celtic Park almost side by side in your vision. But Derry has always had a strong soccer tradition. Is that something which has has kind of stuck in the side a little bit, or is it something that you want to develop and grow alongside?
Yeah, look, it has a very traditional, as you say, soccer background and history, and there's absolutely no reason why the 2 sports can't flourish side by side within the city. You know, we have 10 clubs in that area, and all bar 1 now have their own facilities, their own grounds, some of them floodlit grounds. You know, there's more investment we want to do in the facilities there, particularly in 4G pitches, and so we can do a lot of more training over the winter. We want to open Celtic Park for the clubs to train in. We've good lights up there. We can keep them going all winter and let the clubs use them. But there's absolutely no reason why the 2 sports can't flourish. Football, the hurling and the soccer can't flourish side by side.
As a Dublin GAA club man, it probably sound odd, but I'm jealous of those kind of facilities and that level of pitch availability. And Owenbeg is obviously a really valuable resource as well. You've opened up now to look for some bigger partnerships to help to bring this, new ambition, this new strategic push for Derry GAA to life. How has the reaction been so far?
Yeah, it was something we just launched last week there, Rob, and expressions of interest have been excellent. There's a number of companies that come forward. We have a number of opportunities at the minute. We've got the jersey, the front and back of the jersey. We have our stadium rights, both at Owenbeg and Celtic Park, and we have our development squads. So thankfully, as I say, a number of businesses have come forward, both dairy businesses and some from outside of the county. And it's interesting, some of them want to come in because they want further exposure, but some of them want to come in and advertise because as dairy people, they see it as a great opportunity to get their name out there and to be associated with Derry GAA, something they've grew up, they've been passionate about, they've followed the team for years, stand outside the wire, and they would love to have their company and their brands, a company they've developed and put so much into, and would like to give something back to Derry GAA and see their name on our jersey.
That is a very powerful, motivator for people to get involved, particularly at local level, but also at county level as well. And you've had great sponsors in the past, and no doubt will in the future. But you're acutely aware of the fact that partnership has moved on from the name on the shirt and the odd billboard at a ground. How challenging is it for you as a volunteer officer within the county board, and for the team of people around you, to actually work closely with people on the marketing side of big companies who are looking to get the maximum benefit out of it? Is that something that is a concern, or is it something that you've looked at and they're addressing?
Well, look, in Derry, we've always taken corporate responsibility towards our partners very seriously, and we want to make sure that their ethos and their goals align with ours, and that's what we're doing through the business network, and have done with our previous sponsors, and will continue to do with our future sponsors. We want to give them their brand exposure as much as they want their brand exposure. We're a market leading digital platform. Like, we won a McNamee Award in 2019 for our contribution toward digital marketing within Derry GAA. We have our We Are Derry platform, which last year in revenue generated over 75,000 into the coffers of Derry GAA. If you want us to sort of one-stop shop for all our live and on-demand games, it's a bit of a Netflix for the GAA, we like to call it. So the potential is there for us to deliver the message for our sponsors. Like, during that time last year, our website had 1 million page hits. Our Twitter had 75,000 views, and our Facebook had over 35,000 views. So we have the potential to give those companies maximum exposure in the island and beyond.
That is really important. I like the idea of a Netflix for the GAA. Maybe that's why Netflix went with a red logo in the first place. Maybe they were conscious of the fact that Derry was on the march. In terms of the timescales now for those partnerships to actually come through, you've set some fairly ambitious targets on those as well, haven't you?
Yeah, we've expressions of interest open to next week, and then we will be putting out a tender from there, and we will let the tender turn around in 2 weeks, and then we award it soon after. So we will have all done and dusted by the end of November, which gives us a good chance to prepare and plan for the 2022 season and beyond.
That's great. We'll talk at the end about how anybody who's watching this within the Sport for Business community might actually look to get involved with that as well, because it does certainly appear to be a very professional way of going about securing some deals that are going to be there in the long term. Your own personal ambitions, let's say over the next 5 years, what are your ambitions for where this, this obvious groundwork is going to lead?
Look, Rob, I think like, I'm no different than anybody else, and if you break down purely logical terms and take market analysis, the GAA makes no sense whatsoever for individuals. In so many ways, that's what makes it so magical and so successful. We've skilled people in Derry and volunteers, we've medics, we've people that run large businesses, with IT professionals, and they all contribute to Derry GAA with absolutely no return. That's what allows the GAA to punch above its weight and be the envy of so many community-based organisations within the world. It's this sort of collectivism and escapism all rolled into one for us all. And like all large organisations, there's parts within Derry GAA that are working so well. There's parts that need further development. There's parts that need more investment, and dare I say, there's parts that need a wee bit of patience. But the GAA, to me, it's all about culture. We have a strong self-help ethos, togetherness as a community. It's a very, very powerful thing. But it goes back to culture, and it's up to me, and it's up to the county board, and it's up to all of us to set the culture. We can't ask the players for doing it, or volunteers for doing it, or clubs for doing it if we don't set the culture. Leading companies spend an awful lot of money each year in the budget setting the culture. What is culture? How do we achieve that culture? It's difficult to establish, but once you get that, it's an excellent and it's a real source of acumen for years to come. Like, and what's my plans for Derry? Look, we're as ambitious as every other county in Ireland. And by that I mean I want to achieve success at a national level, and that's what I feel that the people of Derry deserve. The work they've put in, they deserve that. There'll be challenges towards that. There's always challenges. There's an imbalance. There's population imbalances. There's things that don't make it equal. But maybe that's where we've got to be innovative. History is showing that Derry can reach the top. And that's always been our belief, and that's what we'll do. But for me, the important bit is when we do reach the top again, we stay there. And that's the building blocks that we can build. We've been building in the past. We can build in the short term. We can build in the long term. To ensure that once we reach the top, we stay there year after year after year.
That's often the hardest trick of all. I love that idea of the collectivism and the fact that while those of us involved in the GAA, we get absolutely nothing out of it, and yet we also get absolutely everything out of it as well, just in those less tangible terms. It's a bold ambition, and it's a great opportunity for companies to get in at the ground floor level now. Of course, you've got your noisy neighbours there who showed that anything is possible, that there is no stranglehold on the All-Ireland Senior Championships, and of course you've had great success at club and with your young players coming through. If I was a business person now and I wanted to get involved, what's the best way that I can do that over the next period of days and weeks so that I can be a part of that story in Derry GAA?
Well, like everything, Rob, we try to take a professional look at this and see how we could do it best. And the way we did that was to partner with Teneo. I'm sure everyone's heard of Teneo, the leading communications and advisory consultancy firm. And we got them to do an independent evaluation of the assets of Derry and what they'll be worth. And that's why it allows us to put it out there, to tender, to be competitive. So anyone that wants to can contact derrygaa@teneo.com. We've set up an email account for us, derrygaa@teneo.com, and that's how they can express an interest. And there's a lot of material and collateral to go with that, which will be sent them.
We will have those details up now as we say goodbye as well, or if anybody wants to get in touch, you can do it through rob@sportforbusiness.com. It is a really exciting story to tell. It's got a time limit on it, so we're going to be following this up well before Christmas, and hopefully we'll be there at the launch of a new partnership that's going to last for 5, 10 or more years and help to bring success to Derry GAA. For the time being though, Stephen Barker, who is as chair of the County Board overseeing this whole project, thank you very much for your time with us today.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.